I need you frightened. I need you hopeless.
Welcome back to the chaos. This is the Reflections of Horror podcast. We are a horror movie podcast for the girls, gays, and non-binary baes. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Kale, and this is the 28 years later episode.
It dropped. We get to
drop.
record.
Yeah, we were lucky enough that it hit streaming pretty much right as we started season 2.
Yep.
So it's like not quite like an emergency pod, but definitely shuffling the order a little bit in recording to get it out there to you guys.
That does remind me, I need to check on I did a pre-order of it on the Steelbook.
Oh, nice.
I need to double check that.
You
to see
should.
where we're at since
Yeah.
it hit digital. But yeah.
I know, I need to find one somewhere. Right now it's available to rent or buy on various streaming services. If you're looking to avoid Amazon, Fandango at home actually is really good there's a lot of movies that hit that'll hit streaming, and it's about the same prices as Amazon Prime. I got rid of my Amazon earlier this year, and happy to help people find ways to avoid it because, like, fuck Jeffrey Bezos.
I sadly am an Apple addict, so I just have an Apple TV account that now probably has, I would say, well over $1,000 worth of like movies.
Hey, that's
because it just
okay
hits
too.
digital, and I'm
Yeah,
like, I need it now.
I need it. Yeah, I need it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fandango at home. I'll plug that. You should also sponsor us.
Yeah,
You're
please.
welcome.
if anyone's listening to this and wants to sponsor us, we need the sponsors.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Fandango as a sponsor would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun.
All right, well, shall we dive into this madness?
Let's do it.
So we open with the Teletubbies.
We do.
On the
And
TV.
it's great. I think this was a great opening scene.
Which,
like a scratchy television, kind of circa 2002-ish.
I know we don't need the answers, but I would love to know, is that a VHS tape? Is that a Blu-ray player? How did these kids have the Teletubbies 28 years into the apocalypse?
Well, no, because this is set, the very beginning scene is set when the outbreak is happening. It's not...
true.
Yeah,
True.
so it's set in, like, 2002. And so I'm guessing probably, like, VHS. It's probably not cable, because I'm kind of getting the vibe that, like, they know that the outbreak has happened and things
Yeah.
have already kind of fallen
Yeah.
apart. But I was also getting kind of, like, culty vibes from, like, where these kids were kind of living. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it was just, like, Survivor thing. Maybe it was the religion of it all. Anyway.
Yeah, probably the religion, but it is the Scottish Highlands, so it does get that vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
So, sorry, already off track. So back onto it. So we're watching the Teletubbies. It's like a grainy TV, and it's a room full of blonde children.
Yeah,
I
I made note of that too. It's like there's a group of blonde white children sitting in a room.
Yeah, so then we get like a little wide clip again, like we were just talking about, kind of setting the scene of like, where are we? It tells us we're in the Scottish Highlands. And then we're back in the house, and you just know some shit is happening. Like, you hear it, like, bumps kind of outside the room, and like a woman runs in with another kid, throws the kid down, and one of the little boys is kind of like, Mom, what's happening? And she's basically like, just stay in this room, do not open the door. Which, obviously, what's a kid gonna do? Not really fully listen to that.
Yeah.
So he kind of like gets up and gets closer to the door to listen. And as he's doing that, pounding starts to happen on the door. And we went to see this in theaters, and I just remember going, oh, we're jumping in right off the rip, because here they fucking come. And here they come, and zombies break into the room. And I made the comment to Kale when we saw it, it's like, I love that they jumped in with 2 feet killing kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You
like,
always got to respect that a little
Yeah,
bit.
because, like, in horror, it's this unwritten, like, you don't kill kids and you don't kill dogs, like animals. That's like if you take it to that level, you have kind of gone up a notch.
Yeah.
And they we're just coming straight in immediately.
We're just gonna do it.
Zombies break in, and you don't see any violence of the children, but you see, like, blood splattering across the TV screen.
Which is, like, also just that little touch. The blood spatter on the Teletubbies screen was so good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like so grim.
Yeah.
So like just what a visual.
And it's interesting the way this plays out because the boy was at the door, so the door swings open and the zombies run in, so he's kind of like next to the door and just kind of like calmly walks out of the room, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, a little bit of a scurry.
So he walks down the hall, and again, there's like a stillness around this kid, but you can tell everything in the house is absolutely breaking out into pure fucking chaos. And he walks down the hall, and there's a woman. He's walking down the hall, and he sees a woman in a room, which you can assume is mom. We don't really know, but she's like, Jimmy, run. So we learn this is Jimmy. And as she tells him to run, she like slams the door. And I think you see a brief clip of a zombie in with her.
It's like kind of like a glass door. Like it's got like fogged glass or something.
Because I think soon after they come smashing through that door as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of the main part, and he's continuing to make his way down and out of the house then at that point, and kind of just like, again, he's like very calmly making his way, but like shit with zombies just keeps popping up. One comes down the stairs and kind of falls into frame, and it's very chaotic.
It is very chaotic, very jumbled, and like just kind of more and more of them coming, like closing in.
So sweet baby Jimmy runs to a church nearby, and we get cut shots of zombies running through the hills as he's running to the church, which is very 28 Days Later-esque, that those cut shots back and forth.
Yeah.
And we meet Jimmy's dad, and he's a pastor of some sort, because he's in robes.
Yeah, he looks like a
Priest,
Catholic
pastor,
priest.
whatever.
And I'm like, are you allowed to have children? You know? I thought that was like a thing. Is that not, like, genuine question, is that not a thing anymore?
Oh, I thought you were going the rapist route.
Oh.
Sorry.
No.
That's a good question. I don't really
thought
know.
priests weren't allowed to get married or have children, but that could have changed.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I don't know.
Don't know, don't care. One of those. But yeah, so dad is in the church, calmly on his knees, just praying. And obviously Jimmy's like, Dad, like, what is happening? And he just...
It's like, Mom and sister are, like, dead, I think. Like, something bad is happening right now.
And he just goes on this rant of, like, it is such a glorious day. And it's like...
the day of judgment.
Yeah, kind of sermon-esque. And he calmly takes off his cross necklace, gives it to Jimmy, tells him to have faith.
Yeah.
And just at this moment, zombies break into the church, and as he's yelling all of this religious rhetoric, like screaming like, yes, my children, and he's being eaten. So...
it's interesting because it's like very... like ecstatic, like he's very happy to be eaten, and so he's not
manic. Almost.
Yeah, like very manic, very like ecstatic, like in the fervor of like, I don't know, religious zeal. And he doesn't get like, it's interesting because they didn't just like rip him apart, like they turned him, and then he gets up and kind of leads the charge as this like kind of like messiah kind of figure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was really interesting to like. He didn't just get, like, consumed. He got folded into their ranks and then took the charge.
Yeah.
And, like, what are we trying to say here?
Yeah.
But Jimmy, as he gets turned, Jimmy had kind of, like, hidden in, like, a grate.
Yeah.
Under the floor or something.
Yeah.
So, he's, like, holding the cross, and he's, like, literally, like, well, his dad just got eaten, and he's, like, Father, why have you forsaken me? And I'm, like... that's really dark, but also, like, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, yeah, you were forsaken for sure.
Yeah. I also kind of like it because, for me, it felt like a nod back to the first film, right? Because the first bit of zombie we get in that film, they're in church. So I drew that parallel. I don't know if he meant it that way.
It was the priest before, too, when... Jim, not Jimmy, went into the thing, and it's like, Father, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then, tried to get eaten.
So the zombies storm out of the church, and then we get this wider shot of little Jimmy in his little robe and his PJs just sprinting through the Scottish Highlands with the necklace in hand.
Yes.
And then we cut to a black screen. We get our typical 28 days later type of text explaining the rage virus laid waste to the UK. It was driven back from continental Europe. The British mainland was quarantined to contain the virus, and survivors were left to fend for themselves. And then we get our title card in the 28 days later fashion that says 28 years later. ...
So a bit of a different kind of connection to where we were led to believe things ended from 28 weeks later, which, as we talked about before, was different writer, different director. And kind of led to believe that it did hit the mainland in the 28 weeks later universe.
Yeah.
But didn't in this one. It was like basically Alex and Danny were like, actually no, we're changing how we want this to happen.
You know what's hilarious though? Like I tried to listen to a couple podcasts that interviewed like Alex Garland, and like they don't even reference 28 weeks later.
That's so interesting.
Like when they're being asked like differences in the movies and how did you change this and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like they do not, I know that they didn't create it, but they were there to help with it because I remember on the director's commentary they were talking about it, but like,
did they hate it that much?
I think they basically look at that movie and are like, you guys fucked this plot up so bad.
So bad. It is interesting though, because I feel like there was, we'll get to it when we get to that scene, but there is like kind of like a little bit of a callback to it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you caught it, but 2 weeks later specifically, but we'll get back to that.
Okay.
So yeah, 28 years later, and we cut to an island.
Yeah. And I would just describe it as like, we're kind of just getting cut scenes of what life is. So like you're getting wide shots of like, okay, this is kind of like a little village. You're seeing people fishing. They're just kind of setting the vibe of like, what is daily life now in this setting, basically 3 decades later after a zombie apocalypse has started.
Yep.
So we do like, and again we see that we're kind of on like this island setting, and you see that they have put up a bit of a barrier around the exterior of the island with like barbed wire and stuff. And then we meet Spike, a younger boy, is being woken up by his dad, and his dad's making these comments about saying it's a big day.
Yes.
So you're thinking, okay, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then again, we cut to more scene setting of the island, sheep, pigs, the village store, stuff like that.
Kind of like a jaunty tune in the background, like kind of upbeat and stuff. And like, a lot of like cuts between Spike getting ready after being woken up and island life, kind of like, you know, it's very like primitive, like kind of like
100%.
A little bit of scavenging, a little bit of like hand making stuff, like kind of like definitely like, these people have been kind of like rebuilding and existing after an apocalypse, 30 years, but like haven't like, you know, there's no electricity, we're assuming, kind of thing. But as Spike is preparing, I just thought it was really notable because he's like, has a little knife, he has like some other things that he's gathering, and then he has like a little Power Ranger toy that he like almost puts in his bag and then puts it back. And we learn a little bit later that Spike's about like 12. So he's like a little kid. He's a baby. He's a baby.
So,
and that does bring me to like kind of like, this is kind of classified as like a coming of age horror.
Yeah.
And I always think, because I guess I never really like, previous to kind of recently, or up until recently, I didn't really know, like you hear coming of age around a lot and you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Usually, because like I used to think, coming of age is about a kid, it's about kid stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. It's about horrible things happening to children and forcing them to become an adult. Every other single, like, as I started focusing on it, every other single, like, coming of age story that I read, something awful happens.
Yes.
Like, something awful happens.
1,000%. Like, when you zoom out on this movie and you realize the protagonist is actually a 12-year-old boy trying to navigate the zombie apocalypse, that is kind of insane.
Yeah, it is kind of insane. And just, like, seeing that tag coming of age on any kind of media now, I'm always like, what awful thing is going to happen to this child? Because I see it in everything.
I will go ahead and drop this now because it does kind of feel like it could fit into this. In one of the interviews I was listening to with Alex Garland, he made the comment that pre-COVID, he had written a script.
Interesting.
An iteration of this, if you will.
Okay.
That they didn't even touch. He completely rewrote it. And I'm going to mention it now because to think that he started where I'm about to say and then landed with a coming-of-age brutal story about a 12-year-old is kind of crazy. He basically wrote that it was going to be the Chinese army coming in to kind of try to, like, save the day. Mm-hmm. And they were going to be looking for the original lab that it broke out in.
Okay.
To find a cure. And then they were going to come across a group of individuals that was trying to find it to weaponize it.
Okay.
And he said when he wrote it, he envisioned it being fully subtitled.
Okay.
So it was going to be in Chinese, basically.
Interesting.
And he said that he realized it was kind of basic. Essentially, he was like, when you think of a zombie apocalypse, like, that,
you see that.
He's like, that's been done, like, a lot. And he was like, I gave it to Danny to read, and he basically gave me a response that made me realize I needed to get a bit weirder with it.
Okay. Interesting.
So, to think he started there and landed where he did is kind of insane.
That is, it's all a process. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't really realize with, like, writing and stuff is that, like, there's so many different iterations and stuff and so many different drafts of, like, this could have happened, but we landed here. It's just, it takes a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so coming of age horror, Spike decides to leave the Power Ranger behind, does not bring it with him.
Because he's a man.
Because he's a man now, and Spike and his father sit down for breakfast.
Dad's kind of running through everything. Did you pack your knife? Did you pack your flashlight? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, water bottle.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And there's this, like, one part in this breakfast scene that I thought was cute where it's, like, Spike looks down, he's like, oh my god, bacon for breakfast. Yeah. And then he's like, did you get any? To his dad, and his dad's like, yeah, I ate it while I was cooking. And he's like, no, you didn't. And he tries to give the bacon back, and say what you will about Jamie, he's kind of a shit character, but that, like, small scene of, like, where he, like, makes Spike take the bacon to eat it, I'm like, that's the one sign of wholesome masculinity that I think you've had the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
And then Spike proceeds to fold the bacon in a napkin and take it upstairs to his mom.
Yeah, but I mean, I think... Because I think he starts with that, right? He's trying to make it this wholesome father-son dynamic. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would be curious to see how men felt about this story. Because, like, for us, we immediately were like, fucking, this is a tale of toxic masculinity. Like, this is disgusting. So I would be curious if... I feel like a man would watch it and probably relate to it more and be like, yep, my dad would probably have done this to me.
Yeah, maybe.
So we cut to Mom, who's upstairs and looks very sick. Mm-hmm.
Jodie Comer.
Yeah.
She's so good.
She's incredible in this role. I immediately, I thought it was, some sort of, drug withdrawal. That's the manner in which they made her act. That was where my brain went. Because when I think of true illness, the sickness that she has, I think weaker and not as kind of out of control is not right, but she's clearly very agitated and uncomfortable.
Yeah, interesting. I did not think withdraw or anything like that. I thought maybe she was just crazy.
But just giving that description to kind of paint the picture of how she's
for sure.
acting.
Yeah, she's very sallow looking and sweaty and just very out of it, very kind of confused. So they both kind of go up into her room and she's like, asking Spike, why aren't you going? Are you going to school?
Yeah.
They're like, no, we're not going to school. And she's like, why? And this was interesting too, because when I first saw it, I was like, does she still think it's like the before time? Does this little village have a school? And
Yeah.
I'm guessing they do.
Yeah.
We'd see later
Yeah.
that they do, but I was
Yeah.
like,
I had the
oh,
same
is she
thought.
like really like not even here kind of
Yeah.
thing?
But this is how we find out Dad is taking Spike off the island.
Yes.
Because then Mom is with it enough to basically lose her fucking shit
Yeah.
at Dad for saying that he's going to take a 12-year-old to the mainland
Yeah.
to practice hunting zombies.
Yeah,
Warranted response.
to which she calls him a baby murderer multiple times, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought was
Yeah.
really, again, just a really good performance of just, she's cursing him out, calling him a baby murderer, like, you can't do this, he is a baby, like, and he is.
Yeah, and then we just kind of see how out of it she is, because kind of in this same scene, basically, she starts freaking out. Spike basically tells the dad to just, like, go. He leaves the room. Spike's, like, calming her down and tucking her back in. And she basically, again, is like, so you're going to school? And
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, Mom.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing this the second time.
Yeah, and that's really, that scene, it's just, like, Spike's dynamic with his mom, and, like, the obvious love and, like, caretaking there is just really, really well done and really heartbreaking, I think.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can really feel it of, like, triumph, like, it just hits home if you've ever been in a position where you have to take care of a
Yeah.
parent in any way, whether it's, like, because they're sick or they're an addict or something like that, and it's just, like, that love and preservation that you have for them is
Yeah.
really a good note, I think, in this.
Yeah. And then next, I called him Old Man Sam. Because his name is Sam, but he's an old man, so it's Old Man Sam.
I just put old man, so you're on to something there.
Stops by the house and drops off a fresh bow for Spike.
Yes.
Freshly strung. And then,
Which,
are you going to make your comment
I
again?
am going to make this comment, because he, like, in archery, you're not supposed to do this, but he, like, pulls the string back without an arrow knocked, and he doesn't dry fire, which is good.
Yeah.
Because when you dry fire a bow, and you don't have an arrow, like, all of the energy that you're putting into that has nowhere to go because
Yeah.
there is no arrow there, so it goes back into the bow, and it can break the bow, and it can also very much injure the archer. So don't do that. Don't dry fire. It's very dangerous.
This is what happens when you're 12. But in Spike's defense, Sam goes, give it a try.
Yeah.
So.
Shouldn't have. Well, I guess, yeah, he didn't dry fire, so it was fine. I guess it's fine to pull the string back as long as you don't release it, as
Yeah.
long as you, whatever.
Yeah.
Still drove me a little crazy.
That's your note from Kale today. And then we get a shot of Spike and Dad walking through the village, and, like, you kind of start to get the vibe of how big of a deal this is that Spike's going out, because, like,
Yes.
people are, like, cheering and
Yeah.
applauding Spike, and
Congratulating him.
I made a note that this is a nugget. We do get the first shot of the woman that we're gonna find out Dad is fucking in this scene. And it's you have no idea who she is, but, like, she gets a close-up, and she's, like, kind of making these eyes as they go by, so...
I actually missed that on my second watch through.
In hindsight, it makes sense, but if you're sitting and watching and haven't seen it before, you don't think anything of it.
Interesting.
So, they get up to the gate, and we meet the, quote, leadership committee. And this is really just giving us, again, more information about how things are done. So they explain, normally kids go out around 15, not fucking 12.
Not fucking
Which, like,
12.
God, even 15 feels a bit crazy.
Yeah, just a little young.
Yeah.
Still babies, really.
And
but
we learn the rules that if they come back, they can obviously re-enter the community, but if they don't come back, they will not send people out to find them.
Yes.
Due to the amount of people that they have lost previously. And then they reference a very nice makeshift graveyard right next to the gate.
yes.
So,
No rescues, no exceptions.
yeah. So they go up into the little guard tower. They open the gate for them, and they basically say, "Off you go! Don't miss the tide." Because then this is when we kind of find out, because Dad is making Spike explain it, kind of to assure that he understands that, like, they have to time high tide versus low tide, because it's it's a cool setup for this island where when the tide goes down, they've got a walkway to take all the way to the mainland, but then when the tide comes up, obviously that gets covered in water.
Yeah, and they can't, like, you can't even, like, walk or swim when the tide is up because it'll pull you out to sea.
Correct. And so they finally explain that but as they start to head to the mainland, this is when we get our Boots song.
Yes.
From the trailer that was so popular. And how do we feel about this style we get of them splicing parts of this movie with, like, old film moments of bow and arrow and people up in guard towers and shit? How do we feel about that?
I liked it, and this is where I'll go back to it, because it's like, it's flashes of old war and old military from different eras, right? There's like medieval military stuff, and then there's kind of like, I guess there's one shot of like little kids in uniform marching, and there's shots of just like old military footage. And then I think we also get a couple shots of like spliced in with it of what looks like the scope vision from the second movie.
Yes, we do.
And so, like, that's the only reference you'll get to weeks later in this, I think, is, like, what that looked like to be looking down the scope and shooting, like, civilians that are running from zombies.
Yep.
I liked it. I thought it was punk and, like, a little jarring, but, like, also I think it just is folding in this message that this is like the culmination, this moment is a culmination of all of this war culture and like what is behind war culture, but toxic masculinity, right? Coming together to this mission of like, oh, we have to do this. Because again, they're walking and through this kind of like montage of between them walking and then we get the old footage and stuff. They stop like pretty much in the middle of the causeway, and Jamie, the dad, asks, he's like, Are we really doing this to Spike? And Spike is like, I can't go back now. They'll think I'm soft. And Jamie seems very pleased with this answer.
Well,
like
because he says, well, we can't have that.
Yeah. And he's like very, very like pleased that was the answer that his son gave, right? Yeah. So that's this. I think like the cut in footage and stuff is just kind of adding to this swell of like, here we are. Here is what we're doing and where we're going to this dangerous situation because of all of this buildup of culture. Yeah.
I would say that's much deeper than my thought of like, I felt like this was the only way that they could stylistically match 28 Days Later with the footage on the TVs.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's where my brain went, because I was like, well, this was really the only avenue they could take to try to mimic that.
Right.
So
no, that makes sense. I think that's like both of our thoughts like combined, or like you're thinking like the technicality of it, like how do we connect it like visually to a previous movie? Yeah. And then it's like asking them, well, why do they need to do that in the first place, right?
Yeah.
We're so smart.
I know. So yes, and the only other thing we failed to mention was Dad does specifically say there's 4 hours until high tide.
Yes.
So we know that it's a 4-hour window, which, with how things play out, the fact it is only 4 hours is kind of insane.
Yeah, kind of. 4 hours is not a lot. How far were they planning on going on foot?
Yeah. And then, so they make their way, and we get our first, again, as far as, like, style of this movie and what we're going to see, we get, like, a cut to night vision, but, like, the night vision's red, and it's like zombies out in the woods.
It's very creepy.
Which, I would be curious, though, because wasn't there something where, because night vision in 28 normal night vision's green, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think there was something where I think the military tried to test red night vision, and it made military people claim that they were seeing, like, demons, like entities that weren't there.
Wait, like in real life?
Yes. There's something with it. I don't know if the color's red, but I know for a fact military did a test run on a different color of night vision, and the personnel we're freaking out. So I hope that it's red, because then, like...
That would be a good...
You know, it's a vibe.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know anything about that.
I...
That's very creepy.
Don't even know where I found that, but I have heard that at some point in time.
It's okay. I'm gonna look it up at some point.
So, we are now in the forest after we get our cut of the night vision of the zombies, and Dad stops and listens. And then we get kind of like a cool shot. It's off the back of these zombies that we're going to meet that are bloated and just crawling through the forest.
Yeah, the slow-lows.
Yeah, and we see that they're eating worms. So again, to this franchise and this universe in building this, I know in interviews, like Alex Garland talked a lot about, like, well, these zombies have survived for 3 decades now. There has to be a level of...
And they're not dead, and that's one thing that, like... Because, like, zombies and other things are dead, right?
Yeah.
And these
They're
infected,
virus infected. Yeah.
But, like, just, like, biologically, that's interesting, because, yeah, they gotta eat worms.
Yeah, because he was talking about, like, they have to eat and drink.
Yeah.
So they have to be doing something. So that's kind of how we landed here. And it's kind of like a cool first kill for Spike, because obviously they're slow moving. They're just crawling.
Yeah, they're just crawling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamie kind of lines Spike up and is like, you go for the neck, just right in the neck. And he does get the kill, but
he does ask him if he's scared.
Oh yeah.
Right before he shoots, and he's like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you know, it makes sense. And
Yeah,
then there's more. There's
Yes.
more. It seems like in my perception, it was like, oh, this is a little family.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because
there's like a little baby too.
Yeah.
At one point.
There's a little baby zombie.
Yeah.
And yeah. So Jamie takes out the rest of them, and Spike is like kind of trying to help, but. Yeah, there we go. He got his first kill. Hooray. You're a man now.
Yeah. Well, and I found it interesting. So he kills the first one, and it gives this, like, blood... like, I felt like it was almost like a pig dying was the sound that I got from it. So he screams, and that brings the other one. And, like, one starts crawling up from behind them, which Dad shoots and kills. I think there might be a third. And then... that's when we get the cut of one that looks like a baby.
Yeah.
That, like a toddler, I guess, because it's walking on its own. And it's, like, up on the hillside. And that's the one Dad pauses.
Yeah.
And doesn't
He lets it go. And it just kind of toddles off into the woods. This whole zombie family is dead. It's very sad.
Yeah. But this is the first little peek into, like, you took a fucking 12-year-old to the mainland. How did you think this was going to go?
No,
because, like
literally.
you said, when they come in, Spike kind of panics and then misses the shots after that.
Yes. Understandably so.
Dad circles back around and just tells him it was a beautiful kill and how proud he is of it.
So proud. You're a man now.
Yeah, but he's like, but yeah, we got to get moving because of that scream more.
Yeah, there's going to be more coming.
Yeah.
There's kind of like an elation to it, though.
Yeah.
So they go off walking again. They see a herd of deer. It's like a bunch of deer running around.
Very CGI. I kind of hated that shot.
Yeah, I did too. It was pretty CGI.
understand.
There's not a lot of shots, I think, in this that are like, oh, this is like really not great CGI, but that was one of them.
Yeah. I will say, as they're making their way through the landscape, I think this is their attempt at our classic wide shots. So when we were in downtown London, you obviously got all those really wide moments where, so for here, as they're making their way through hills and forests and whatever, I found it interesting. You get the wide shots, but where they have them located in the shot is unconventional to me. So, like, people will say you can cut your frame into thirds, and that's kind of how you're supposed to arrange things. And it's like, it's cut into thirds, and they're in the top third, or like in the bottom third, where
instead of like central.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it's usually your focus point is centered. So I think, again, maybe to kind of just like I heard him refer to it as like punk, like how he wants his style to be like kind of punk and alternative. I don't know if that was their attempt to
I'm sure.
do that,
I'm sure it was, actually. Yeah, breaking conventions. It's very punk.
Yeah. So after we get our CGI herd of animals running by, Dad spots a house and kind of just takes it as an opportunity to teach Spike how to, one, clear a house for infected, and to kind of scavenge for shit.
Yeah, and it's like, even if someone has been through this area 100 times, there still could be something useful left behind.
Again, my brain, looking at this farmhouse, it was kind of giving the farmhouse from 28 Weeks Later. That's where my brain took me. Was it shot that way? Absolutely not. Was it meant to be that? No. But I was like, this could be a nod to the second movie a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. I see that. Like the one from the beginning of 28
Weeks
Later.
With, as we call, I think we called him Dickhead for the whole episode of how awful that dad was.
Yeah, the worst.
So, his dad finds a Frisbee, and again, like, it just kind of is like, we get some moments from Spike where you're realizing what it would be like to actually grow up in a zombie apocalypse and not have any clue of, like, the shit that we know.
Yeah, like the before time, right?
Yes.
Which I think is really interesting because, like, we're kind of, like, in the era of, like, you know, it's been 25 years since, like, 2000.
Yeah.
Right? And just thinking of, like, that timeline. Like, it's been more than that since, like, the apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
So just like trying to scale the time, and like 12 years old, like that's there's no way he didn't know anything.
So Dad's pumped about the Frisbee and kind of just is like, yeah, well, I'll show you, kind of. And then we get a crow that is like really loud, and so they kind of follow that, and we find this body hanging upside down, and it's got a bag on its head. Did you catch that Jimmy is carved into the belly?
Carved, like, down his whole torso.
Yeah.
Not in the first watch, but in the second watch, I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. Yep. Jimmy.
So it's kind of thrashing around. So you're like, okay, well, this is definitely an infected, not just somebody, like, left for dead. And Dad just explains that, because, like, obviously Spike's 12, so he's like, how would something like this happen? Like, what do you mean? Nobody would do this in our little fishing village.
Yeah.
And Dad has to explain, like, there are strange people left on the mainland, and they could have done it for punishment or as a message, and he tells Spike to kill it.
Yeah.
And Spike's distraught, and because again, this kid's fucking 12 years old, and it's just it becomes this tense scene of, like, Dad is getting, like, progressively more angry with Spike almost, because he's just yelling, kill it, kill it, kill it, because it's thrashing around, and eventually, like, a hand gets free.
Yeah.
And then eventually, once the hands are free, it's thrashing, and then it gets free, because it's hanging upside down by its feet, and then it falls, and then Dad shoots it. Obviously for safety purposes.
Wait, Spike didn't shoot it?
I thought he shot past it. Oh no, Spike does put an arrow through the head successfully.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. So I think I remember him being, like, pretty proud about that too. But he says something interesting. It's like, before he kills it, it's like, the more you kill, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Which is very, like, plays into that whole, like,
yeah.
like, militaristic kind of, like, thinking that is, as we kind of see later, is very kind of embroiled in the whole, like, little village community, right? Because we kind of get glimpses, not a full dive into, like, the village culture, but, like, after this scene, after Spike kills it, and you can see kind of, like, how that's damaged him.
Yeah.
We get, like, a cut back to the community where we're in a classroom.
And it's right after this kill, which is, like, kind of jarring.
Yeah, it's very jarring.
Because the house is, like, dark and dilapidated, and it's this tense moment, and then it's, like, cut, and you're like, wait a minute, where am I now? But,
yeah. So we're in a brightly lit classroom, kind of going over a board with, like, the roles of the community, right? And you have, like, a baker, a seamstress, in the watchtower, a farmer.
It's, like, giving, like, 1920,
like Little House on the Prairie kind of vibes. But then you'll notice that all of the people in the classroom are women and girls. And then another cut to outside, where that's where all the boys and men are. They are in front of target dummies, basically, and there's like the old man.
Sam.
Old man Sam is there, and is like heart and head boys, and they're practicing their archery, aiming for the heart and head, right? So like you have that it's like drilled into them, right? Like this like militaristic kind of thinking into specifically the boys.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that probably girls, when they hit 15 or whenever, don't get to go on little missions to the mainland. So, yeah, it's
Again, to like how you would rebuild, you would hope that those gender roles would fucking go to shit. But just by the way things are looking, I would say you're correct that they have ran with that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, after the boys, we get a cut shot of Mom alone in bed. She kind of gets up and looks out the window, which again was giving wife in 28 Weeks Later to me, because the way they shoot it from the outside, but did they mean it that way? Probably not, but my brain still took it there.
That's totally fair.
So then we're back with Spike and Dad is doing some tracking, so kind of trying to teach him, like, you can look for footprints, there's blood on the leaves, so there's probably something around here.
We'll get another kill tonight, he says.
And they come across a dead animal, and I love what they did with how this alpha zombie kills people.
Yeah.
Because
crazy.
The head of an animal with its spine still attached is up in a tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a feet off the ground.
Yes.
Like up in a tree. Like this is something tall has put that there.
Yeah. And we get Spike and Dad are kind of discussing this. And then we get the cut to the red night vision, and we see Alpha putting the head up in the tree.
Yes.
Alpha is this zombie that this infected, whatever, zombie that is going to be our main problem throughout this movie. Yeah.
And so we're just kind of introduced to the concept of an alpha. Does he say, when they find the deer, does he reference an alpha?
Dad references an alpha and immediately gets like on edge.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time he's like, oh, you're like, oh, Dad is concerned and this is not good. So yeah, he says that was probably an alpha, so we need to fucking get moving.
So they do, and it doesn't really turn out well. They kind of hit this valley, and
it's like a large grassy area, so it's really open.
Yeah, really open, and then up on a hill by a tree, they see some infected gathering, and then kind of like marching through, like by all the other like twitchy infected is a very kind of focused, gigantic figure. That is the alpha.
And kudos to the actor, right? Because one, you have to have a certain physical presence to pull this off, because it's always in the distance, and you can just like tell by the way he's standing where you're like, oh, if he gets like up close, he's probably a very, very scary man.
Yes.
Which I believe the actor that played him was like 6'5", 6'7". He was a very tall man. And as Dad kind of points it out and says, like, the one on the right's the alpha, whatever, Alpha lets out just this carnal scream, and this small group of infected come sprinting down the hill.
So I looked it up. This man is 6'9".
Yeah, so he's basically 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's so gigantic.
Large man.
Yeah.
If he's 6'9", I bet he weighs every bit of 325.
Oh,
he's a very large, shredded man.
Very. You said 6'5", and I was like, I don't think so. I think he's bigger. And then 6'9" is shocking. It's the tallest person.
So now they're being chased by infected. And I love Dad's dumbass, because he's like, run the two-man drill. With
his little kid.
While Spike is like, I'm gonna die. So the two-man drill is basically, as they're running away from the infected, one drops to a knee to try to shoot. Yeah. And then they like rotate, and it's failing miserably, because obviously Spike is
freaking out.
I'm surprised he didn't wet himself. You know what I mean? He's so scared. So he's attempting to shoot, missing, so Dad has to handle all of it. And it's like, and again, this is why you don't take a 12-year-old to the mainland, because you have to know you're going to have to handle situations by yourself, and it's life or death. And I just think it's man logic. It's fucking man logic.
It's crazy that this, like, ritual or whatever, like, meant so much to Jamie that he was willing to risk, like, both of them in order to have this little proving ground, right? I don't know. It's weird. I think the ritual around masculinity in all cultures is just crazy.
Yeah. So, it's very tense. Dad's successfully killing a couple, but obviously they're still coming. And then they run back to the farmhouse that they were in. And again, it's like cut shots. They're getting back in the house. You're getting cuts of the infected sprinting outside towards the house. The infected make it in. Dad and Spike make it upstairs, and Spike's like, what the fuck are we going to do? And Dad's like, get in the attic. Okay, well, you're trying to get a 12-year-old boy into the attic while you're simultaneously trying to shoot a bow and arrow. So, like, it's kind of just this clusterfuck of, like, Spike can't get up in the attic. He's, like, trying to step off his dad's knee to get up as Dad's trying to lean and shoot the bow and arrow as infected are coming up. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And they barely get up in time as the infected break up into it. Yes. So, but after that shit house, we cut back to the village. And there is a group of women setting up Spike's welcome home party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a little banner, a little set table.
Yeah. And then we're back with Dad and Spike up in the attic, and obviously it's such a dilapidated house. Basically, like, part of the roof is missing, so they're kind of just looking out these open beams. And Alpha is literally just off in the distance watching them. So
because in that whole charge, when all these, like, infected came over, Alpha, like, stayed back and just kind of let all the other ones run after them.
Which I know that they said that they basically wrote the infected in a way that kind of mimicked, like, wolves. And I don't know if that's how wolves work, where the alpha sits back behind the pack and makes them work, but
I don't either. And I will say also that the whole idea of, like, an alpha wolf is actually not a thing. Like, that's a thing. So you get this a lot because, like, the manosphere on the internet love to be like, I'm an alpha, you're a beta, like, all that shit, right? And building it off of this idea of alpha wolves that came from a study of wolves in captivity.
Oh, of course.
So where they're in, like, a stressed environment, and so it's actually, like, the idea of an alpha wolf only really exists when they're in captivity, and they're way more, like, cooperative, and, like, there's not really like a the alpha in, like, actual nature in the wild. So, fun fact there. Yeah, so it's just, like, the concept of an alpha is man-made.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
That actually tracks.
Yes.
Because he was just trying to say that, again, to, like, what would these infected be like 3 decades into it? He just had the thought of, like, well, okay, if I had to hunt an animal, I couldn't do it by myself without guns or bow and arrows, but obviously the infected are not going to start using weapons. So he was like, I knew that I kind of needed to make them into, like, a pack mentality. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's very interesting, because it's like, we've gotten to it before, especially when we're talking about timelines. We did this in, like, the Purge series too, of, like, just talking about, like, how does culture change and stuff over time, and we see it in the village, but I guess we do see it a little bit in, like, how these creatures who were people have reorganized themselves to keep living, right? Yeah. It's interesting.
So, Dad's pointing out the alpha. They talk about the fact they're out of arrows now.
Yeah, which sucks. Spike too. Spike also didn't get anybody. But
he just wasted arrows, basically. So they're out of arrows. Dad does make the comment, it doesn't even matter anyway, because you need several arrows to take down an alpha. So again, you're kind of setting this tone of what this beast is really going to be like if you see him face to face. And Spike just, is a 12-year-old and starts like apologizing for being scared and missing and how embarrassed he is, basically. And Dad tells him he did well, don't worry.
Yeah,
and,
it's like I've seen adults like shaking so hard that they couldn't even draw an arrow, and you at least shot.
Yeah,
You know, you
so
didn't hit
again,
anything.
he's like,
it's like encouraging, but like, what are you encouraging? You know,
he is that type of dad that at his core, he is teaching his son toxic masculinity, but at face value, he's still trying to be nice to the kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, because he thinks that this example of masculinity and like going out and killing and becoming a man and all that, like he thinks that by instilling that in his kid, he's helping him, he's fathering him, right? Because that's how deeply ingrained it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm being this way to make you better, right? And that's how it's been in time in memoriam.
Yep. We get a wide shot of the causeway, just to confirm they are fucked. The water is coming in, right? Like the sun is setting, so like, you know the ship has sailed, but they show you that causeway, like it isn't fully gone though, but you just know the water is coming.
The water's coming in, yeah.
So they're again still just looking at the roof. Dad sees something off in the water and just kind of makes the comment of it must be a French quarantine patrol out in the water. So again, kind of just like world building. Like what are other countries doing around what's
this whole
happening?
Thing, yeah.
And then on the opposite side of the house, Spike notices a fire off in the distance. And he's like, is that a village? And Dad's like, no, it's not a village. He doesn't know what it is because he's never been there. But it's delivered in a way where you're like...
He seems very deeply unsettled by the sight of the fire. And avoidant.
He's a little bit of a liar. You're like, that was a lie. You know exactly who or what that is.
Yeah, for sure.
So we get another cut of the red night vision clip of just infected in the woods, being infected. Just a vibe. You know?
Just moseying around.
Yeah.
You know.
We get this dream sequence from Spike.
Yeah, very cryptic, kind of like cut shots of like that almost night vision-y thing.
Yeah.
And then his mom in the water with like the same kind of glowing eyes.
Yeah.
It's really I like a good dream sequence.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because like my dreams never are that narratively clear, so I'm like, okay. So I feel like in movies all the time, right? Like the dream sequence is like, oh yeah, it makes sense that they're dreaming this, right?
Yeah.
And then like my dreams are like, who knows what's going on?
Off the wall. No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Which again, though, kind of similar to 28 Days Later, because we see Jim had a dream sequence in that where he thought he was being left.
That's true. Yeah. So it's like, you know, really diving into the deep-seated fears, right?
Like storytelling, how they're going about this.
Yeah.
So cut shots of this dream sequence and our CGI animals.
Yes.
And it's done kind of in a way where you're like, wait, is this his dream? Is this actually happening? And basically, he comes out of the dream because Dad's like, we gotta fucking go because the CGI herd of animals comes by, the vibration of them sprinting by this old dilapidated house. Dad goes, oh shit, this house is collapsing. We gotta go.
Yeah, the chimney in the old building like comes down, and I thought it was an earthquake at first, and then I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But they kind of have to scramble out of the attic, out of the house. There's dust, everything is crashing, it's loud, and then so their safe haven is kind of like gone, and they're like, oh shit, we got to get to the land bridge. We got to get to the causeway because we don't have any other options now.
And Spike's like, well, isn't the tide going to be too high? And Dad is basically like, look, put your head down, run. We have to get there. We can manage to make it across if we do that. Don't stop for anything.
Yep.
So they get to the beach. They start taking off their boots because obviously they're going to be wading through water to get there. And as this is happening, we get the shot of Alpha. Like up on a fucking hill with crows circling.
Yeah.
a vibe. I loved it.
I loved it too. It was because in the circling crows, they kind of all come and then go at like Jamie and
the more we discuss this, I just still can't comprehend how people hated this movie.
I know, I don't get it
but
either.
we can get into that at the end about how stupid people are.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. They make it to the causeway and then they're calmly walking.
Yeah, they think they got it. They're like strolling.
If I'm Dad, I'm like, hey, bud, like, we're just still gonna haul ass just to be safe.
Yeah.
But
like,
no. Man logic. We made it to the causeway. Let's just calmly walk.
Yeah,
so,
let's just stroll. Also, they have all of their gear and everything too.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in water and you're trying to remove fat, like you sacrifice that gear.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Like I'm
Old
sure
man
it's
Sam
hard.
will make you a new bow.
Exactly. He can do it. But yeah, so they and it's I really like this shot too because it's also like it's also pretty CGI. I think like
yeah, because they make like the Aurora Borealis in the
yeah, but it looks really cool because
Yeah.
they're basically the water is covering the land bridge, right? And so it looks like they're walking on. It looks like they're walking through dimensions, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like just like the night sky and the aurora and just on the water, and it's really cool. I think it looks like really magic, and then added with this layer of like drama because here comes the alpha.
Like, I just remember in the theaters, I was so anxious watching this scene because the way I think this scene is a masterpiece to me because you see the alpha and the crows, and then like the crows make their way down onto the causeway and kind of like fly over Spike and Dad to the point where they kind of like duck and are like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then you get this cut of it's like the alpha, and you don't even see the alpha himself, you hear him. So when you're with the alpha, it's just like,
yeah.
and then you cut back to Spike and Dad who are fucking oblivious, and you're thinking, he is coming. You guys need to be moving faster. And then they cut you back to Alpha, and you see he's like at the beach.
Yeah.
And you're like, Spike and Dad are still just fucking walking. What the fuck? And then we get this awesome, they zoom us out, and you can see the space between them, right?
Yeah.
So obviously Spike or Dad like grabs Spike and is like, we need to run.
Yeah.
Like any
now.
12-year-old, he falls.
Yes.
Of course.
Like any 12-year-old.
As Alpha is just sprinting, hauling ass. Water's going everywhere. Dad at this point is basically dragging Spike by the back of his collar.
Yeah.
Dad has like a little whistle that he like gets on to like
You know, the whistle.
basically try to get the watchtower awake, and he's like whistling and he's like, Alpha!
Yeah.
Alpha! Oh, I'm getting goosebumps telling this because I just love this scene.
It is.
And
Very good.
basically everybody at the gate wakes up and they just man the helm, right? So like I think they start with basic bow and arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this like, again, back and forth of like, they shoot the arrows, like 2 or 3 catch Alpha in the chest. Again,
Still going.
but again, so they catch him in the chest, he goes down, and in that moment, like Spike and the
They
Dad,
stop again. Yeah, no, they do
and
stop
I
again.
was
I remember
like,
that.
I would stop for fucking nothing to get to that gate. So they stop, and then obviously Alpha gets back up, and you're thinking, buck, buck, buck. And again, you're watching this space close and close and close, and Alpha is right on their ass. And the people at the gate send arrows on fire into his chest, and that's what takes him down. And then you're not done yet, though, because they get to the gate, and the woman at the gate is the leader of the leadership committee is basically telling the person that controls the gate, wait, and the Dad's like, our eyes are clear, look at our fucking eyes, look at our fucking eyes, and it
takes a minute.
It is like the smallest crack, and he basically like kind of like shoves Spike's head there, his eye, and then they finally open and let him in.
Yes. It is a doozy of a scene.
Yes.
And on that like really pretty like nighttime backdrop too,
Yeah.
you have all this chaos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I think there's a lot of like just like visual setups and stuff from this one in particular that I think will like kind of like are very iconic. and will be like kind of settled in like this kind of horror icon, like imagery.
You know what we completely
canon.
skipped over for the zombies? How they shot it with the iPhones in the cut frame.
Oh yeah.
Okay, back up
Back
just
up.
a little bit. So, if you look online, you will find photos of how this rig they built to shoot this. They shot it fully on an iPhone. Mm-hmm. Now they say they shot it on an iPhone, but if you look at the rig they built on the iPhone, it's
like 50 iPhones.
well, so yes, sorry, I'm getting scattered too, but like even, so they shot the whole movie on iPhones, but when it's like regular filming, not this grid for the zombie kills, it's like the iPhone is like the screen because they still have a massive lens on it. And I'm like, I think you're cheating the people by saying it was shot on iPhones.
Yeah,
But anyway,
a little bit.
so it's like this, I don't even know, it's like a plywood circular thing. They have kind of waist high at the zombies, and there's like, I don't know, 15 to 20 iPhones in a circle. And what I assume they did was maybe run a like a burst photo shoot.
Okay.
Because I liked the style of the kills. I thought it was cool
too.
because you're just watching the movie, they shoot this zombie, and then it like cuts you into a different angle of the arrow hitting. Yeah, it's glitchy. So I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how you witness basically all the zombie kills.
Yeah, there's that like kind
mainland.
of like choppy, gritty thing. And I don't know, I think there's something to be said there about like the dissociation of like killing or something, right? Like it's like it looks really cool, but maybe also it's like, oh, it's jarring to see, right? It's jarring to us to see, like just cinematically, and maybe that's like, oh, it's jarring for whoever's doing the killing, right? Yeah. I don't know. True. It's really well done.
Yeah. So they're finally in, and then we just cut to the party.
Yeah. They made it.
And
they're safe. Everything is great. Jamie's telling war stories. Everybody's having a great time, right?
Yeah, people are drinking, dancing. They actually give us a quick shot of the party interlaced when they're at the gate. So they do cut a little bit in that, but then, so they're setting the scene of like the party has started, people are drinking and dancing while they're at the gate trying to get in and not die from Alpha. So they finally get in, and then that's when we see Dad and Spike. They're on the stage, and Dad has a beer in hand. By the way he's telling these stories, I'm thinking he's probably several in at this point, because he's lying. Basically, and saying Spike killed a bunch of infected and did so great, and he's a hero, and blah 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 blah.
Well, he's telling war stories, right? Yeah. And it makes you think of like, well, that phenomenon of telling like these great battle tales or whatever, like that we've done for generations and generations. Like, how much of that is true, right? Because when you zoom out and you look at like the actual like atrocity of war, right? Like it's like this dissociation of like telling these grand tales of how you wish it would have gone when it did not go that way at all.
Yes, 1,000%.
I'm reading this, it's called Angel Down, and it's set during World War I, basically, and it's like these soldiers are sent out into no man's land to collect an angel. They don't know it's an angel, they find that out later, but it's a really like kind of deep meditation on like the absurdity and just like the darkness of like war. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about that. I'm in my grandpa era. I feel this like soul deep urge to watch World War I documentaries. Yeah. So I'm like, what are we? Where are we? What's happening?
I absolutely love that for you.
I don't.
So in the midst of this, so they're on stage, and even when he's like telling the story, Spike's kind of turning around and being like, what the fuck are you talking about? He turns and Dad just like ignores him basically and just keeps telling the stories. And Spike is given a drink at 12.
At 12.
So he drinks a beer, and
that's normal in some cultures.
That's true, I guess.
But yeah, and then he like also is like tells his dad, he's like, you're cursing, and he just goes on lying and cursing and drinking and stuff. And so Spike's drinking seems to be pretty overwhelmed by everything, and kind of gets a glimpse of Jamie kind of skirting off through the crowd.
Well, Spike goes outside to throw up because he's had too much beer at 12.
Yes, yeah.
And then that's, he sees his dad and the little school teacher go down an alley, and he follows them, and then realizes that they're fucking because dad gets on his knees and puts his head under school teacher's dress.
Which I will say, I think it was a progressive choice to make.
Yes.
They could have had Rosie on her knees instead, but it was Jamie who went down first, and you know what? Good for him.
That is true. I always clock that too. How you depict a sex scene, I think, says a lot about you as a director and or writer, because you have choices to make.
There's a lot of choices,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's like they're trying to say something about like Jamie's character.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like not
He's
all
a
bad.
giver.
Yeah.
Okay. I just hate him so much, but
I know.
it's a valid point. And so obviously Spike sees this, is devastated, and runs home. And
Yes.
Old Man Sam is in the house and had just been
Babysitting.
babysitting mom, making sure she doesn't go crazy. Tried to say they went on a walk and she was doing just fine. And Spike opens up a little bit about like,
Yeah, he was scared, and Dad's over there lying, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Old Man Sam, though, does give us the information about Dr. Kelson, I believe his name is.
Yep.
Because, again, Spike is just kind of recounting being on the mainland, and Old Man Sam very casually is like, oh, yeah, that's Dr. Kelson. He's the old GP, general practitioner. And then, as he's kind of telling the story of this is a doctor, we're getting cut shots of Dr. Kelson kind of like surrounded next to a fire and hauling wood, and kind of just starting to set that vibe of like, what is this doctor about? How is he living? But it's very brief.
Yeah.
And then he just tells Sam to go to the party, and that Spike wants to look after his mom, because Spike's a mama's boy.
He is a mama's
He's
boy.
a sweetie.
Yeah.
He goes upstairs, crawls into bed with his mom, and then they just kind of fall asleep, and she's complaining about her head. And then Dad comes in the AM.
It's morning, pretty much.
Yeah, and he explains he passed out in the field.
Sure. I mean, probably he actually did,
Yeah.
but like also, sure.
Next to someone else,
Yeah.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
So Dad cooks breakfast. He at least keeps his family fed. We can say that.
That's true.
So
Yeah, so there's some, like, Spike kind of, like, because Dad crawls in bed, because they're all kind of in bed together, and then Spike, like, there's, like, obvious tension there between the two of them, and Spike gets up. And then we go down into the kitchen, and that tension kind of is still percolating between the two of them. And then Spike asks Jamie about, like, Dr. Kelsey. He's like, there's a doctor. And he's like, there hasn't been a doctor we haven't had a doctor here in decades.
Yeah.
And then, Spike is like, well,
You're
I
fucking
heard,
lying.
you're lying. Why are you lying?
Yeah.
And then kind of Jamie goes in talking about his experience with, like, having seen Dr. Kelso and how weird it was.
Yeah, so he tries to claim the doctor's insane now, and he starts telling this story about, I think he said 15 years ago that there was a group foraging and came close to the doctor, and he's telling this story, and then we cut to seeing what they saw. And he explains, like, they got really close and it just smelled awful of death, and you see them up on like a hill basically, and you're looking down onto Dr. Kelson, and he has, in a very OCD manner because they're very well aligned, just dozens of rows of corpses.
Yeah.
And he's like, he looks like he's in scrubs, like a doctor scrubs. And he has a body slung over his shoulder, like casually about to set it on fire, and he turns and waves at the group.
Yeah.
And the dad's basically like, we
Never went back.
We never went back, and we got out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because he said for some unfathomable reason to have all those bodies lined up and stuff. And I just think it's interesting that it was, like, they're so far removed from, like, these, like, both the infected and then also, like, the people who died just in general over the course of an apocalypse.
Yeah.
That they're, like, people, and that there used to be, like, rituals around the dead and stuff in the way that, like, it's not unfathomable if you think about it for, like, a second, right?
Yeah.
But they were just so jarred by that vision and that confusion, because I think that, because at that point, if it was 15 years, that would have been, like, 13 years into the apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
So they're so far removed from their own rituals that to see them maybe hinted at is just unfathomable now.
Yeah, and it's like also the point of, like, again, to, like, an apocalypse and having to figure out things, like, you have to find a way to get rid of the dead bodies, because dead bodies just decomposing out in places are a problem within its own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's not good.
Yeah, like, there has to be a solution for that. Someone has to take care of it, or you're complicating things even more than just dealing with the infected.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but yeah, so he kind of gives that little horror story of Dr. Kelson, and, like, Spike asks, I think, if Mom is dying, and...
Well, Spike asks Dad, do you want Mom to die?
Right. Yes.
And then proceeds to say, if Mom dies, are you going to be with Rosie?
Yeah, to which Jamie slaps him across the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another devastation for Spike, I think, because I kind of get the impression that maybe he has not been beaten a whole lot, which is good.
Yeah.
And so Spike kind of scampers back upstairs.
Because Mom yells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Spike goes back upstairs, and Jamie kind of comes to see what's going on, and then Spike, like, is shoving him out of the room and pulls a knife on him.
It's like a little pocket knife.
It is a little pocket knife, and he is very easily disarmed. And I liked that shot where, like, Jamie has the knife and his hand is kind of, like, shaking, probably in rage, right? But he still, like, kind of, like, opens his hand and like hands it back to Spike.
Yeah.
And then Spike tells him to just fucking leave.
Yeah.
And Jamie storms off, punches a wall, as an angry man does.
Yeah.
In
my notes I said throws a tantrum.
Yeah. And then from here, Spike is kind of concocting a little a plan.
It moves so quickly, though.
It
does. I
does.
think when we were our first watch in the theater, I don't think I connected it until we were there, because you kind of see Spike go into town, and then all of a sudden it's Spike running to the tower to be like, oh, the store's on fire. And it's like, oh, Homeboy immediately just went down, set a fire to get people out of the tower, because even the guy in the tower is like, I can't leave my post. And Spike's like, no, that's why they sent me, like, I'll man it.
Yeah.
And the guy in the tower is like, well, don't take your eyes off, like, the horizon. And he's like, oh, I won't, because I'm actually just going to go out there with my mom.
Yeah, exactly. So he runs back, gets Mom, and then tells her that they're going to the beach.
Yeah.
And then onto the causeway they go.
Yeah, so they make it. Once they get onto the mainland, Mom realizes it's the mainland and kind of panics.
Yeah, she's like, we're not supposed to be here.
Yeah. And then this is the first we start to see, because Spike's like, no, like, we're going to go see a doctor. Like, you're sick. We need to get you some help. And then her nose starts to bleed.
Yes.
So you're thinking, well, this probably like not good.
Yeah.
Something's definitely up with her.
Yeah,
health.
she's like not, and she's got headaches. She's confused all the time. She's like clearly like pretty not well.
Yeah. And then, again, we're just kind of getting shots of them making their way through the terrain. And again, to the first watch, not catching this, but I did in this one, they pass a house, and on the side, it says, behold, he is coming with the cloud. And then next to that, somebody has painted, or someone has, like, scratched in Jimmy. So again, you're getting
Getting
these little
the Jimmy,
nuggets
the Jimmy
of
motifs.
Jimmy running the mainland a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which went fully over. And again, to people being so mad about this movie, if you actually pay attention, he is giving us nuggets along the way for the ending to not be as confusing as it was for people.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, they set it up in the beginning, the entire first scene before we get that 28 years title card, right, is Jimmy's whole deal.
Yeah. And
in the first watch, I did miss all of it. I forgot about it. I was like, oh, that was just a device to set up, like, kind of where we were and where we're going.
Yeah.
Didn't pay attention to Jimmy literally carved down a chest or painted on the side of a building. And I was also like, whoa, that's crazy. And I think it's just something to be said of, like, the value of, like, rewatching things. Because I get that in, like, Hereditary, too, where it's, like, the end, people, you get, like, where'd this cult shit come from? But if you watch it again, you're like, oh, it has been breadcrumbed through the entire 2.5 hours of this movie. I'm an idiot for not having put those pieces together at first.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that about movies, because you're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And then you watch it again, you're like,
oh, it does. I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's actual, like, just being stupid or media illiterate. I think it's just like it's kind of like a magician thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're following where your attention is supposed to be, right, on that first watch, and then the value of rewatching things, you kind of are able to redirect your attention to more, like, subtle things that are working through a story.
Yeah. So, again, they're just kind of trying to make their way through the train. Mom is talking about how exhausted she is, and she sits down in the grass, and Spike says, oh, well, we can stay the night in this, like, church-like structure. It's not fully enclosed, but there's at least, like, standing buildings.
Yeah,
and
it's like
whatnot.
ruins or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think that, like, the scene of them walking through the countryside together, it's very cinematically, like, really pretty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, really pretty shots that are like cut in with all this, like, kind of, like, gritty stuff too, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think in, like, previous 28 days iterations, like, you do get that background stuff, but everything is very vibrant in this one, which is cool.
The color correction, they definitely shot it straight up, which again, it's a good contrast, right, to The Infected and how those moments are shot.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We are kind of getting comfy in the ruins for the night, and it's a sweet conversation between her and Spike, because she's like, is your dad silly with you when you guys are alone, because your grandpa was really silly? And he says, no, not really. And
Jamie's pretty serious.
Yeah, and she even says the comment of, like, he just wants to make sure you're tough like him. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of tucks her in and tells her to get some sleep.
It's like, I'll keep watch.
Oh, okay, you're 12.
You're 12. You've had a hell of a last couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to keep watch, and then pretty much immediately, I wrote in my notes, immediately falls asleep because he's a child, and wakes up in his mother's arms with a dead infected nearby.
Yeah.
So we learn in the night that there was a slow-mo little guy.
And you get kind of a tense scene, because in Spike sleeping, we see the zombie crawling towards him.
Yes.
And you're thinking, is he going to wake up? Is he going to wake up? He gets close enough. I thought it was a good touch. The zombie even nibbles on his
shoelace like it's a worm,
because it thinks it's a worm. So you're thinking, oh, this isn't going to be good. But then, he wakes up in Mom's arms.
And then we get like a oh, how did that happen? And then another jump cut that it was like Mom who put a thing over the zombie's head and then bashed it in against, like, a wall.
I love the way it's shot, though, because when Spike tucks her in, quote, air quotes, it's like a blue jacket that he kind of just puts over her, and when we see the zombie kill, all you see is the blue, you're in close on the zombie right in front of Spike's face, and you just see the blue jacket come out of frame, wrap around the head, and then you get the shot where Mom has the zombie wrapped up and is bashing his head off the concrete.
Yeah.
And the fact the woman just woke up in the morning and was like, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
No recollection.
No idea what happened. I think she did have an idea.
Yeah.
I don't think that was did you think that was a fugue state kind of thing?
Yes, I thought.
Really?
I thought when he's like, what happened? I truly think in that moment, she doesn't remember. She wasn't there. She's like, I don't know.
I don't know if I didn't.
You thought she was going the motherly route
Yeah,
of...
I did think that. I think that she was just lying to protect him. You're like, oh, I don't know, it's a miracle kind of thing, but she knew that she like killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, could be either, I suppose.
So yeah, they hole up for the night. They need to get on the move now that they see everything is going, and then we get a jump cut to the Alpha.
Yes. And so it's the Swedish army we're going to learn. Do you remember, we had the conversation about 28 Days Later. Didn't you comment about what country that fighter pilot's from?
I did. What did I say? Did I say Sweden?
I went back through and tried to find the clip, and I couldn't find it in the episode, and I'm just curious if it's Swedish.
It might be. I think it is.
I think that would be it would be interesting if it is.
Yeah, I think it is, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because it was, like, Swiss. I think so.
Oh.
Not Swiss. No, it was Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, so, sorry, we're just getting off topic, kind of. So,
Not really. It's pulling it back to the first one. I think that there's got to be a line there for something. Like, I think that the creators do that a lot, where they leave things that it's like, oh, well, we can do something with this later. And there's stuff in this, too, that I think is kind of doing the same thing, that it's, like, setting up for whatever is coming in the next few films.
So we get, cut shot. We get a wide shot of Alpha, and then we see military personnel running for their life, basically. And they're being chased by a herd of infected. We figure out they're Swedish. And it's like this, I don't really know, like a waterway? I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like they basically... the military personnel like slide down concrete embankments that drop into like another walkway, and they're trying to run, and the infected's chasing them. A couple of the guys get eaten. One of the military personnel has to shoot his buddy because he starts turning, and 3 of the men survive and head into tunnels.
Yeah, tunnels. Always a good idea to go into a tunnel in a horror movie.
So they basically like go in through this gate, shut the gate behind them, and try to start shooting the infected through the gates, right? So the military men are now in these tunnels, covered tunnels. Mm-hmm. And then Alpha shows up.
Alpha does. He pops in, and
and this is very chaotic style. I kind of liked it. We're really only seeing this shot from the light of the headlamps on their helmets. Thank you. And they think they're fine, and then Alpha is just there, and he
again just
I love the way he does this. So one, I'm obsessed with the fact the way he basically kills people is he grabs them by the head, and he's so strong. I wonder if there's a term for this where you have just been decapitated, but your spine is still attached. He just yanks upwards, spine attached to head. And I'm like, that is a fucking vibe.
Yeah.
From like, again, you're trying to write another movie in this franchise. You're thinking, how are we going to ramp this up? What are the zombies going to be doing? The fact you're like, this Alpha is going to be so strong, he is just going to take people's heads off with their spine still attached is incredible.
It is.
What does he do? He does that to one of the guys and beats another guy with the guy's head.
Spine, with his spine.
Yeah.
It's like whipping them with the spine, and I'm like, yeah, that would hurt. I would assume that vertebrae do not feel good when they're whipping against your face.
I'm like, that's just incredible.
It's crazy. It's incredible. Very good touch. Really takes us back out of the oh, look at the lovely, like, English landscape
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah, you're
and
in
it's
the tunnel
like,
with
oh,
Alpha.
with Alpha and his spine whip.
Yeah. So
yeah,
basically-
very cool, very, very, very grunge.
Yeah, yes. So then basically as that is happening, now the 3 men in the tunnel, 2 are dead, and then while that is happening to those 2, our 1 man goes back out the gate
Yeah.
and is like, well,
Scurries off.
I'm fucking out of here.
Yes.
And as he scurries off through the gate, we cut to a group of infected in a stream. And it, again, I guess it's kind of setting this tone of like, they work in packs, they're in the stream, they're maybe trying to drink water, and we do see our pregnant infected.
Yeah.
Do you think she was pregnant and turned, or are the infected fucking?
I think the infected are fucking.
So, upon first watch, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
The question is, though, how is the baby not infected if it is 2 infected fucking?
I don't know. I don't know. Even if it's not 2 infected fucking, how is the baby? Because, like, later...
Think of The Last of Us. That's how Ellie was immune, because her mom was pregnant with her, and she got bit while she was infected.
Interesting. Did not know that. Haven't seen The Last of Us.
So,
but
sorry, spoiler.
that's fine.
Last of Us spoiler.
I don't care. Well, yeah, I don't know. And then there was like all this stuff that the Dr. Kelson says about like the magic of the placenta or something. And
Yeah.
I'm like, does this work with other viruses, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about the whole biology of all of it.
Yeah.
Cuz I was thinking, I was like, yeah, they're infected or fucking. It's an alpha.
Yeah.
He seemed like pretty protective and upset when he found out the mom was dead.
That is true. We
And-
also have forgotten to mention that the infected are naked in this movie.
Yeah, just all fully nude.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them.
Yep.
Not even like, zombie shreds of clothing.
Nope.
They're just all completely naked.
So,
there's that. You'll see a lot of memes on the internet talking about
alpha
alpha
schlong. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I got out of the movie and I was like, I don't think once was I like, damn, his dick is so big. I'm just like,
I
I'm
wonder-
more concerned about the fact that he's 6'9" and weighs about 350 pounds and can rip my head off. I'm not concerned with the size of his zombie schlong. Like, come on,
Well,
girls, calm down.
You are gay, so that makes sense.
But again, it's not like I looked at the women and was like, ooh, zombie titties. Like, no,
true.
like they're zombies.
They're zombies.
Don't be fucking weird.
not a monster fucker, I take it.
No, I'm not. I'm not in that brand of smut, I can tell you that much.
That's so funny.
Okay, so
Looking up zombie romances to send to you now.
no. So we cut to Mom and Spike, and they're in this beautiful field, and Mom is talking to Spike, calling him Dad. So we see that she's getting a bit confused. There's like a angel lake. I don't know. There's a sculpture
statue kind of thing.
that she's like commenting on how like is acting like she's talking to her dad and is commenting about how they've seen the sculpture before and whatever, and her nose starts bleeding again. And I said, we get accidental Cillian Murphy looking infected behind him.
Accidental
Because
Cillian Murphy is so funny.
So many fans were like, is that infected Cillian Murphy as an infected?
Yep.
And Danny Boyle's like, no, that's an accident. Like, we just wanted him to be. I don't know how that ended up happening, and I can kind of see it, but no, that's not Cillian Murphy.
No, it's not. It's just a zombie.
Yeah, it's just
an emaciated zombie.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, he's like, the infected is kind of walking up behind Mom, and Spike, like a real man's man at 12, shoots him in the head without really saying anything.
Well, he's got something to protect now. It's really
Yeah.
bringing out his like masculinity or whatever.
Manliness.
Yes.
And this lets out the pig-like squeal, I will say, as he's dying, and more infected show up.
Here comes a bunch of them.
They're
all running.
The chase is on.
Yeah.
So we get a shot of the abandoned Shell station, but the S has fallen off to spell hell, which
Very
is a
nice.
nod to 28 Days Later.
Very nice touch.
Both the scene at the end that says hell instead of hello, as well as the gas station that we blew up. So
Yes.
I think it's definitely a nod to the first movie there.
Oh, for sure.
They run inside, and there's this, like... They obviously run inside without worrying about it because they're trying to get protection from the infected. And there's this, like, clearly some type of toxic gas that is hanging on the top half of this interior.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's super claustrophobic at this point because it's dark, you've got that gas. They're kind of, like, stumbling around because obviously they're inhaling this gas and coughing and spitting, and you're like, are they gonna make it out of this? And the infected are right behind them, make it inside. Spike is doing a pretty good job of just bashing these infected with anything he can find.
Yeah, no, really.
But then...
He's seasoned now.
Yeah. This is his second trip onto the mainland.
Yeah, he's a right old warrior.
So, obviously you can only do so much, though, and they kind of get to this... They kind of wrap their way around, and they kind of, you're just like, oh, there's no way out. And right as you're like, oh, are they about to be fucked? Swedish military man opens like, I don't even know what it would be. It's like a hatch. I don't know why it's in this gas station.
Plot
but
reasons, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the Dead by Daylight hatch.
He opens his hatch. He basically is like, get down. He shoots down. Which, again, the logistics of this, if it would play out, I don't think so.
Well...
Because he shoots down.
And then the gas explodes.
And the gas explodes, but...
They're on the ground.
Spike and the mom are safe because they're on the ground.
It's fine, you just stay low. That's why you're supposed to crawl around if there's a house fire, because the smoke. No, I agree. I was like, I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure they're not eviscerated at all.
They're not even, like, singed. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Spike came out with all of his arrows, which he had dropped before, and I was like, okay, that was... I can see the drama. It was fun, but also I'm not sure if it was super realistic. But you know what? Neither are fucking zombies and
True.
and zombie babies.
We've talked about it in other ones, like, just as far as writing goes, just be careful. Don't write yourself into a corner that makes something fucking unrealistic.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. But also, I can see the value of, like, suspending your disbelief when stuff like that happens.
True.
Because it's like, what?
It's the fun of cinema.
Whatever. Yeah,
This makes
exactly.
no fucking sense, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So, we see the infected basically catching on fire and being incinerated, and then Mom and Spike run outside, they're coughing, they're struggling to breathe, and Mr. Military Man explains that it's benzene vapors that have been built up over the years.
What is benzene? I forgot to Google it.
I'm gonna assume what comes off of gas,
Okay.
since we're at a gas
like-
station, was my guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
Weird.
Again, are benzene vapors just going to hang in the air like that? That's why I didn't even Google it. I was like, it's all fake at this point to me.
It's all pretend.
Military Man kind of starts to freak out.
Yes.
And is kind of being a fucking dick.
Oh, yeah, he's a huge asshole.
Which...
His name is Eric, with an E.
I'll probably continue to call him Military Man.
That's fine.
But, yes, Eric. And, yeah, we find out he's in the Navy. And he came ashore with a team of 8, and now he's the only one left.
Yeah, their little patrol. Yeah. Well, probably one of the patrols that Dad saw.
Quarantine patrols or
whatever. That Dad saw on the water.
Yeah.
Was probably them.
Yeah.
Yeah, their boat crashed, and they got stranded on the mainland.
So...
R.I.P.
Yeah, so he is tagging along with Spike and Mom. He's carrying Mom as they're trying to go across the countryside, because they move on from the gas station pretty quickly, because Spike's like, the infected are in the area. They no doubt heard that. We should probably keep moving.
Yes.
So, this is where we get a little bit of comedic relief, because they stop. Military Man's kind of hungry. Spike has a bushel of apples for him, basically.
Yeah, a whole bag of apples.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to take when I tried to run away, too, was some apples I stole from the kitchen. It's a runaway staple.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of apples.
Yeah. And Military Man has an iPhone. So again, we kind of have this, like, this innocent interaction of Spike being like, what is that?
Yeah.
And Military Man's like, well, it's about to be a brick, but, like, it's a phone, blah, 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 blah. And he shows him He chooses to show him a photo of his girlfriend, to which Spike says, "What's wrong with her face?"
Yeah.
And
He's like, what are you talking
he's
about?
like, "What do you mean?" And it's a very pretty girl that looks like she has probably had some work done.
Yes.
Spike goes, "Oh, well, there's a girl in the village, and when she eats shellfish, that's what her face looks like." And I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect." And
Oh, right.
Eric kind of grumbles
like-
and gets
like,
kind
what
of
do you- yeah.
pissed off.
What do you know anyway, kid?
But in one of the interviews with Alex Garland, he did explain that he kind of wanted this interaction to show, like, people outside of here don't give a shit. Like, the world keeps spinning type of vibe.
Yeah.
He was like, I wanted him to, like, have a phone, have a girlfriend, whatever, just doesn't give a shit what's happening here to these people, because outside of this country, it's not his problem.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty interesting.
I was like, that's accurate, you know?
Yeah, that is accurate, because it's like you try to think of like, well, what would happen if this happened?
Well, you see,
right?
we saw it a little bit with COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As it spread to a variety of places.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like, well, that's their problem.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
And you see it in other, like, contexts, too. Like, we're pretty good at just, like, being like, that's not our problem. Even if we fucked it up, like, it's not our problem anymore. They get to figure it out for themselves.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So, they keep walking, and they hear an infected. Spike, in military man, are kind of like, ooh. Mom walks towards it. So she's following the sound. So they're following her, kind of being like, what the fuck are we doing? This is not a good idea. And they find an abandoned train. And out come rats. Rats come pouring out.
Yes, another callback to the other ones. There's always a good rat scene in these movies.
So you're like, okay, there are infected nearby, because when the rats show up, you know are infected are coming behind. And she makes her way into the train, and we realize the pregnant zombie is in the train.
in labor.
And she's just yelling, right? But there is not really any bit of this zombie that says she is aggressive. It is literally like, oh, she's in labor, and that's what she's most concerned about.
Yeah.
And I thought this was really, this is the first, well, not the first, but I just think this is the start of, like, this. It's interesting to look at this franchise, because obviously 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later is very focused on this concept of rage and the rage virus and what the infected of this rage is doing to other people. And I think there is a softness to this movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Because I think this mom just sees a woman in labor, and she very calmly just kind of puts her hands up in front of her and holds the hands of this zombie.
Yeah.
And helps deliver this baby, because as the baby crowns and comes out, she, like, catches it. She, like, I think grabs maybe a hair tie or something to, like, tie off the umbilical cord, and tells Spike to cut the umbilical cord with his knife. To which, and the whole time, the military man is like, get away from it, it's infected, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as she delivers the baby, I thought, just made a movement. I didn't think it was,
like, aggressive.
Yeah. And military man just fucking hauls off and just sprays her full of bullets.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, Jesus Christ, come on, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. What did you think about just the idea of pregnant zombie?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's their vibe, right? Like, 28 Days Later was kind of the first iteration of running zombies.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's like they changed the subgenre with that. And I could go either way. So when you look at it, you're thinking, okay, well, they wanted to revamp this again, right? Like,
Yeah.
they wanted to do something that
Different.
I don't know of a pregnant zombie giving birth in any other zombie media. So it's like, did they want to do it first? But I think I think you can also draw this parallel of life and death.
Yeah.
Right? Because mom's gonna leave us, but she helped deliver this baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I can see it
So
too.
I those are the two takes I have on it. What did you think?
I wasn't sure what I thought at first, and neither. I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was like, I hated it because pregnant zombie. And then, like, he watched it again, and he was like, okay, I hate it less. Like, I understand pregnant zombie now a little better. Yeah. And I think it was like it's one of those that it's like, oh, this is shocking. Is this just a shock factor thing? Yeah. But then, like, the baby kind of, like, plays. And that's another thing. It's like, I feel like they could have had the whole coming plot with, like, mom and figuring that out without a baby, right?
But
so it's interesting to see, because I think that's kind of inevitable of, like, okay, well, what role is little baby going to play in the next iteration?
That's my question. You have to hope
it's gonna come back around.
Yeah,
because if they're doing a trilogy,
I hope it's a link for Alpha to always be able to find them.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Because we get a shot here in a minute. We'll get to it, but Alpha shows up, and you can tell by the way he looks at the pregnant zombie, that is his baby.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So I hope it's this connection that allows Alpha to either, who knows, find the village and decimate the village, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think inevitably it's going to come, because this is, like, as far as I know, with the plan of, like, the next... There's at least Bone Temple, which is coming out in January. So, and then I think there's going to be another one. I think he wanted it to be a trilogy, right?
Here's my concern. It's supposed to be a trilogy. They shot 1 and 2. They
like
have
back to back.
They have been trying to say, dependent upon how the first 2 go, they still have to get funding and to get green light for the 3rd one. And so many people have trashed the first one. I'm like...
No way, though.
I'm like, if you... illiterate people on the internet ruin this for me, I'm gonna be furious.
I'm gonna freak out.
So we definitely have at least 2, but yes, it is supposed to be a trilogy.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'll be curious to see what role, because as far as I know, it's like the next one is 28 years Bone Temple, right?
Yes,
so we're
correct.
still in the year thing. We're not jumping up another decade or so.
I'm assuming it's gonna be continuous.
Yes.
I'm assuming we're gonna pick up with Spike where we left, I hope.
You know, it got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's
good.
good. Yeah.
That is good. Okay. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of TikTok.
You might be.
As I often find myself.
It's
easy. Yeah. So, like, the mom even takes, like, the water bottle and rinses off the baby. Like, she's just very caring. And the military man is freaked the fuck out. Shot the zombie. Is basically like, the baby's infected. Like, put it down. If you don't put it down, I'm going to kill all of you. Blah, blah, blah. Is ranting. And in mid-rant... Here comes Alpha's big-ass hand through the top of the train, and what does he do? Rips him up out of the train, and then he drops back in and has Homeboy's head attached to the spine, and I'm like, my God, let's go! So, obviously then, Spike is like,
we need to go. Alpha comes kind of lumbering. This is a cool scene, too, because they're going through this train.
Yeah.
And they're running. They're closing doors behind them.
Chaotic.
Yeah, and claustrophobic, too.
Yes.
And also, like, weird, long kind of... I don't know. It's like an intense chase scene. Like you mentioned before, Alpha kind of stops by a dead zombie woman and is like...
Because he doesn't immediately go after them. He's got the head, and he kind of just walks over to the pregnant woman, picks her up, looks at her, drops her, and that's when he kind of just turns and is like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And starts chasing after him.
Yes.
So you're just like, oops, I think that's his baby you have.
Yeah. So they're running. They're trying to scramble.
Spike does successfully shoot him a couple times.
He does,
Which I said, Spike wastes his arrows because we know it takes dozens of arrows to drop him.
And also, like, Samson, we'll learn the Alpha's name is Samson.
Oh, yes.
In a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, it is the same Alpha zombie that was chasing them across the causeway.
Yeah.
And he has already been filled with at least 6 arrows plus a flaming arrow. Yeah. And is still just chugging along.
Chilling.
Yeah.
So, again, it's one of those shots where you're going, shit, 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 because he's just closing in, and he's closing in, and he's closing in, and Mom has baby in hand.
Yes.
And her and Spike make it out of the train, and just as you're like, oh, they might be done for.
Yeah.
And it's like a blow dart hits Alpha in the neck, and you see Dr. Kinson.
Yes.
Is there.
Who is covered in orange.
Yeah, and he shares, the blow dart has a cocktail of morphine and xylazine, which is very fast acting. So,
Yes.
but I kind of like, he doesn't even fall.
He's just
standing
kind of idling.
upright. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so yeah, Kelson kind of pops into the scene, right? And he's very again, the color splashing in the cinematography. He's very vibrantly orange because he paints himself in iodine. It's a prophylaxis for the virus.
It's a prophylactic, which
Yes.
means it basically kills viruses. And I'm like, again, though, to the writing of this, it's very smart.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a good character marker, I think.
Yeah.
Think of a cast, and it's like, oh yeah, the crazy doctor paints himself in iodine. That's so cool.
So, as Kale mentioned, he refers to him as Samson.
Yes.
We find out he's been in the area for 3 years now.
Yes.
And he very calmly takes the skull out of his hand with the spine attached,
like,
which
"Come on,
we'll get to why he collects the skull. And Spike explains they need help, and they set off with the doctor, and we're just kind of following them, and then we come upon this structure that he starts to explain. He has been working on it for 13 years, and it's a structure of bones. They're like columns almost, made of a variety of the bones from the body. And then in the middle, there's a massive structure of skulls.
Yes.
It's very cool.
It is very cool.
From a design perspective.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever did the fucking set.
Yes.
Because that's sick. It
is sick. It is really cool. It's another one of those kind of shots from this movie that is very horror. I can see it becoming part of the horror canon as far as iconography goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that, and then the causeway chase scene, and just a lot of really cool bright, striking kind of scenes going on.
And this is when we get introduced to Memento Mori, which is, I have a shirt that says Memento Mori. Yes. And he just explains, remember death, remember you must die. And again, it kind of just paints this picture of, the doctor is not insane.
He's not. In fact, he's probably the most sane person that we've kind of dealt with.
The doctor is handling the dead with a level of care that you never see.
Mm-mm.
So
no, you haven't in the whole franchise, really.
Yeah. Well, I would just say in zombie media in general.
That's true too, yeah.
And then we dive right into the process of how he preps the skulls. Yes. So it's
oh, Eric.
Yeah, it's this oven structure that's over a fire, and it's the way he throws the skull in this little oven, and then he calmly just sits back, he's right next to the river. He's got a little drink in hand, relaxing in his little, I don't know, little outfit he has to do his skull work. I was like, this is just what this guy does. This is how he lives.
Yeah, it's his new purpose in the new world.
Yeah, which he asks Spike to help him with this process, and he realizes the skull is done, so he pulls it out and puts it in a water trough and then cleans the hair off, and he offers the skull to Spike and says, choose a place for Eric in the stack.
Yeah.
So
and Spike just kind of goes and puts it in the stack, and he's like, perfect. That's a perfect spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely striking. You can see that there's kind of a comfort and also a what is happening here from Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we kind of get into the night time. We're transitioning a little bit.
Yeah, before there we do get a brief interaction between the doctor and Spike, because the doctor kind of assumes they're there because of the baby.
Right.
And he's like, no, well, they have the conversation about the baby. He explains it's not infected, but it's from an infected.
Yes.
And as you
the magic of the placenta.
It's the magic of the placenta. And he kind of even says, like, I've always wondered how that would work. So, but he's like, is that why you're here? Spike's like, no, like, my mom's really sick. And then we go into nightfall.
And she's being examined.
Yeah, and we hear the doctor basically doing, like, cognitive tests with her. Like, we get a clip of, like, it's kind of like the touch my finger, touch your nose, touch my finger, kind of depth perception type stuff. And all the while, it's this very calm interaction between the doctor and the mom, and you can hear infected off in the distance. And again, to
very
just
good
setting the scene as to what life is like, to get to a point where you just live your life with the sound of infected in the background and you don't panic about it. Like, it's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. It's the normal, right? It's his normal. He's been out here for like a dozen years. Yeah.
Who knows at this point. So at one point he's like, well, I would like to, like, examine your breasts. Are you comfortable with me, like, touching around in your lymph nodes and stuff? And then they're sitting down and he's like, look, I obviously don't have the appropriate way to really examine you, but my guess would be you have cancer. It's metastasized, judging by the lumps on your breasts and in your lymph nodes.
Yeah. Like, whether it's spread from your body to your brain to your body, either way, it's in your brain. And it is, like... Yeah, it's a terminal cancer diagnosis in the apocalypse. Yeah. Which, damn, that sucks.
Shit you don't think about.
Yeah, no, really, though. You know? It's like, if you survived this long into the apocalypse and then you're like, oh, yeah, cancer got me. That sucks. I feel like, why couldn't I die in a cool way? I'm going to die of cancer?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sad. But so, like, Spike, obviously, who brought his mom from his safe village all the way out here to see a real doctor, is like, what do you mean you can't fix her?
He just absolutely starts panicking.
Yeah, rightfully so, I feel like.
And this is where it starts to get, like, really emotional.
Yeah.
Because immediately there is kind of this unsaid understanding between the doctor and the mom, because basically the way they've set it up, the mom is kind of just hugging Spike and she gives a kind of a nod, and you see the doctor is standing, she's looking at the doctor, and the doctor literally blow darts Spike to kind of just sedate him, because we find out the doctor is gonna mercy kill the mom.
Yeah
Because again,
it's like, it's
a decision that has to be made.
It is, and it's, I don't know, it's interesting, because it's like, she's still there, right? And it's like, but, because he's like, because before he gets started, Spike is like, is it gonna hurt? And she's like, it already hurts. Like, she's already has been suffering,
well,
right?
I thought it was really poignant, because the doctor, they all sit down, and, like, the mom's holding Spike, and the doctor explains there are several types of death, and some are better than others, and the best are peaceful.
Yeah.
And then this is when he brings up the opposite of memento mori. He says, memento amoris, remember you must love. And it's just like, this whole sequence for me, I'm just like, and again, I have lost so many people in my fucking life. And I guess I should be understanding that there are people out there who are lucky enough they have not lost someone. But I'm like, if you watch this and you think this movie sucks, you're a fucking idiot. Point blank, period. We're not having a discussion about it. Yeah. In my eyes.
Yeah. That's
because
fair.
Like, it's just, it's beautiful to me the way they navigated it. And they have that conversation, and then you see... Again, like, I like the scene, the mom and the doctor kind of walking off into the bone structure, into the dark. And we see the doctor darts her, obviously, to sedate her. And then we see just this really big fire in this montage of Spike and his memories of his mother.
Yeah.
And then you just see the doctor coming back with the skull and tells Spike to find a place for the best one of all. And might get choked up trying to tell it again, because I literally got emotional in the theater, and when I was rewatching it, granted I was on my period, I was like hysterically crying trying to take notes, because this scene to me of like, because they zoom you out a little bit and you see Spike crawls all the way up to the top of the skull tower and puts his, because the tower doesn't come to a perfect point. There's a flat. So she becomes the top of the skull tower.
Yeah.
And the sun is coming up, and he like kisses it on the head and then like turns it to see like the sunrise. And it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
I am getting teary-eyed because like to me it's like, for someone who has grieved and like lost people in horror, I think like this is the best movie about grief for me in horror. I know we have Hereditary, I know we have this takes the cake for me.
Yeah. No, I think that's really valid, because like it's like you mentioned before, this tenderness, right?
Yeah.
That like you don't see, and this addressing of death that you don't see in like horror movies. I feel like you get a lot of like, I don't know, like the scary thing being a metaphor for grief or trauma or whatever, right? Like you get that in, like, I don't know, grief / trauma horror is really in right now. And like, I don't mind that. I think it's interesting, but I think that this is one of the movies that like addresses it in like a healing way, instead of in a way of like depicting what it feels like to grieve and to be traumatized. This is more like a okay, we are in a world filled with all of this grief and trauma. Here is like the root of it, and here is how we can address it and heal from it. And I think especially for like to see that kind of direct confrontation and like exposure to a healing way of addressing it is really kind of like jarring, especially for Western audiences, because like the way that I think especially Americans deal with death and like our death industry is so alienating and so sterilizing that it can make it really kind of where you see like this little boy who now has to carry his mother's skull up to the top of this tower. It can be like almost absurd because we don't have that, because like death is sterile to us. We put them in a box and we don't see it or address it anymore, right? So it's like being able to directly confront that is really cool, and in a way that like makes me think a lot about how we as a culture deal with death in general, and deal especially with like remains. Because I think it is it's very sterilizing. There's a really good book. Here you go. Called From Here to Eternity by Caitlin Dawdry. I quite liked it. It's like an examination of different death practices around the world, and specifically like how the mortuary industry in the United States, like most industries, is like kind of like super fucked up and doesn't really lend itself to very good like healing and addressing death. And I don't know. Just like, because I think of like the trauma that comes with like, oh my God, this is like my mom's skull, but it's treated in such a healing way that it's like, well, maybe what's traumatizing is not ever addressing that and confronting it, right? And that's why we carry such grief with us through our loss for so long, because I don't know. That's my death ramble.
No, I think it's good, and I think it's you make a really interesting point about how normally in horror they give you a monster which is really an iteration of grief. And I think it's interesting because Alex Garland did make the statement that he kind of wanted to subvert normal horror acts, because obviously right in the third act you normally meet the most horrific thing, and he's like, I wrote it in a way where really in the third act you meet the kindest, gentlest character we really have. And I was like, oh, you are correct.
That is, and I like that. I like that subversion. I think it's I don't know, it makes for something really unique. And like not just unique in its own franchise, but unique in the genre in and of itself. So we get that scene, and then boom,
we cut to a very bright green field, and Alpha is running. And we're right back into it, and the doctor, Spike, and the little baby are running. They drop into like
another great
like an underground
situation.
great situation, and we see Alpha sprinting through the bone structures, right? Which I'm like, oh, don't ruin it. Perfect. And he gets to the grate. He's like banging on the metal grate, trying to get in, and then it's like it's big enough to where Spike and the kid can be seated, and then the doctor is like in front of him. And then I had the question, Alpha just busts through the ground, question mark?
Sure.
Because I didn't see another door.
Maybe it was
thing.
like a buried box or something, right? And he's so like there's some dirt over the box, and then the box, and he busts through the box. But
basically, the doctor
busts through the ground.
The doctor is in front of Spike, and Alpha's hand just like comes through and grabs him and is kind of pulling on him. And Spike, again, now that he's a seasoned war veteran, moves quickly and kind of like pulls the blow dart away from the out of the doctor's pocket, basically, and blow darts.
He just stabs him, I think. He just takes it and stabs him in the arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Samson's arms just kind of dangle.
Yeah.
And he's drugged again.
Yeah.
And Kelson's like, thank you. I think it's time for you to go home now.
Yeah, he's like, I think it's time for you and the baby to go home.
Yeah.
So Spike with his baby in a basket, because it's literally like a grocery store basket, basically.
Like a basket from Target or something.
Yeah. And they head back across the terrain, and we see them walking across the causeway. I think a nice little touch. We get a cut that says 28 days later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of course. And Spike is out on his own hunting, and he's cooking fish, and we're getting a voiceover of Spike saying he's okay, he wants to walk until he can't see the sea, that he found a doctor and he's not insane, that the baby is from an infected but she's not infected, and he named the baby after his mom. Mm-hmm. And you find out this is a letter he left with the baby in the basket, and because we then get a cut scene of the fact that he just hung the baby at the front gate, because people in the watchtower are like, is that a baby crying? And then they realize there's a baby outside, and we just kind of see Dad is like inside the house pacing, and then they bring the baby in, and then there's the letter, and then I made the note of like, Dad, like an idiot, we now know he's read this letter because that's the voiceover from Spike, and he like runs out of the house like he's gonna run across the causeway to get his son, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, go somewhere, because obviously it's high tide, he can't go anywhere, so it's stupid.
He can't do, but like his whole family is now gone pretty much. Now he's got this baby. If
you would have never taught your kid how to be on the mainland, he probably would have never had the idea to bring mom over there, so you did it to yourself.
Yeah, that is definitely true, but it's like, it's him upholding this, again, like this whole culture of it, right, is like kind of condensed into this one character. And I don't necessarily think that, like, he's a cheater, he's kind of toxic and stuff, but I don't think he's necessarily like the bad guy.
I know.
You know, it's just, he's an example of the flawed greater system that they're working in.
You're right. Still don't have to like him. I mean, he's better than the dad from 28 Weeks Later. We can give him that.
Well,
miles.
I don't think it's hard to be better than the dad from 28 Weeks Later, to be honest.
So, once we realize Dad now has the baby, whatever, what Spike's deal is, we're back with Spike. He is on this, like, mountain road kind of thing, and he sees a zombie in the road, and like the seasoned war veteran he is, this is probably the calmest cut we've seen of him, because the zombie starts running at him, and he just waits and waits and waits, and then just shoots him cleanly with his arrow.
Yes.
But then
however, there's a bunch more.
Yeah, then he realizes like, there are two more coming around the corner, and he's like, I should probably just grab my bag and get going.
Yeah.
So he runs up the road that's kind of winding, and he hits a wall of rocks in the road that he obviously can't get over. So he turns, he shoots one of the zombies, and this is when Jimmy shows up.
Yep.
AKA Remick from Sinners
Yep.
in a blonde wig.
Yeah. Yep.
And he is in a suede jumpsuit. And he comments to him, great shot, but a few too many coming, even for a fine warrior like yourself. Mind if we step in? It would be our pleasure. And then this group of blonde individuals in a variety of colored suede tracksuits
Yeah.
show up, and Spike's like, yeah.
They're
and,
in Teletubby colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
great.
so it's a discussion. Is it Teletubby colors or is it Power Ranger colors?
Might be both.
Because the way, and I think this ending
Was
you know, it's a vibe switch because it gets a little silly.
yeah, hard kind of
'Cause
gear
they-
shift there.
They like jump into action, but it's like slow-mo somersaults to get into fighting positions. So I say Power Ranger vibes.
I feel it.
And then they just decimate this crowd of zombies, like in a variety of ways. Like one has like a thing you catch stray dogs with, basically, that he like chokes it out, and yeah, so they kill it. And yeah, basically the movie ends with Jimmy shakes Spike's hand and he goes, "Hi, I'm Jimmy, let's be pals," and the movie ends.
Yeah. Oh, and Jimmy has the cross
Yes.
still from
To
his
me-
father, but it's inverted.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know if I
attached.
caught that it's inverted.
It's
that he
attached
flipped it.
inverted because there's the original like little eyelet or whatever to keep it upright.
Oh, on
is
the bottom
upside is
of
upside
it.
down
Ooh,
now.
Good,
Yeah.
Good catch. So again, I think for the people that need to be spoon-fed to be able to connect Jimmy at the end of the movie to the beginning of the movie, they make sure you see
this
the
is
necklace.
the same Jimmy. Also, I was reading the 28 Days Later wiki on this character,
Okay.
and his followers are named. This might have come from the credits that I just didn't miss, or that I just missed. His followers are named Jimmy, Jimmy Ink, Jimmy Sheeta,
Oh, God.
Jimmy Fox, Jimmy Jones, Jimmy Snake, and Jemima. Jemima.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so there's it's a whole, and they're all wearing the same kind of, they're all blonde,
Yeah.
and they're all wearing the same, so it's a cult, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a cult
Yes,
leader.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then so also, the overall look is modeled heavily after a real fixture in UK culture, Jimmy Savile.
So Alex Garland did finally address this.
Did he? Okay.
Because people are saying, is he modeled after Jimmy Savile? Which, if you want like a deep dive, Netflix has a documentary on this guy. He is
Yes.
apparently a British media personality that
Yeah.
ended up being a massive pedophile.
Yeah.
And what Alex said was, now visually he may have been modeled after him, but he was saying he is not just Jimmy Savile. He is supposed to be an iteration of how fractured we can remember things. So Alex spoke a lot about how he like referred to it as like misremembering. Like
Okay.
he even kind of referred to like this whole concept of make X great again. What
was great?
Yeah. So like he tried to say that's what that character represents, because there's this fracturing of like the Power Rangers in Spike's mind, and this fracturing of like the Teletubbies in Jimmy's mind, and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
he was saying
and-
that was really what he represents. But yes, visually he looks very similar to this guy.
Well, yeah, and then also it's like so civilization and everything cut off for Jimmy in 2002,
Yeah.
right? And that's before all these revelations
Yeah.
of Jimmy Savile
Yeah.
kind of came out. So that's interesting. It'll
But
be
again,
interested to see where it goes, because
but-
inevitably I think it's going to be there's going to be a big
Oh, I think I have to assume Jimmy's going to be the center of Bone
of the next
Temple.
one. Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Because he is definitely set up to be kind of like a sinister kind of
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the question is going to be where does Spike go? How
Where
does
does Spike go? Is he going to be okay? Because I think he's come enough of age. We don't need anything else to happen to him, please.
Is he going to fall in with the Jimmies?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Probably.
Yeah. So
Inevitably.
It'll be interesting. So in January, we get Nia DaCosta's second iteration of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which I'm very excited for because her depiction of Candyman was absolutely incredible.
Oh,
so.
it was great. Albeit, no trailers yet. I'll be interested to see if
when we get
it. Yeah, if we get anything like
it
that.
drops early to mid-January, like January 26th, I think. So
Coming up.
You would think, hopefully, October.
Maybe. Ooh,
Give me a trailer for my birthday.
A little Halloween treat.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
So yeah, I mean, how do we feel about the 28 Days Weeks Later franchise?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I'm so glad that we got to cover it. I'm so glad that we got to cover Years Later.
Yeah.
Before we got too deep in this season.
I really feel bad for people that hated this movie.
Yeah, you gotta be so boring, I think.
Yeah.
To actually to hate it.
Yeah.
And this is the thing I think that you see frequently in like online discourse around movies and stuff is that like if someone doesn't like a movie, they say that it was a bad movie.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's not how that works. Just because you didn't like something doesn't mean it was bad. Just means it wasn't for you. And that's fine. Not everything has to be for you, right?
We talked about it a lot in the first season of this podcast. Part of why we wanted to start this podcast is to understand, to have discourse around movies where you can coherently explain why you did or didn't like something.
Yeah.
If you sit down and you go, I just wanted a zombie flick, I wanted to see zombies eating people, so I hated it, I would probably go, well, okay, I can kind of see that then.
Yeah, I guess.
You went in with the wrong expectations.
Well, I think even when you come in from the expectations of like the other one, like the other two movies in the franchise were both working with like some bigger themes, right? It wasn't just like
and that's my question is, the people that hated this movie, did you actually sit through 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later and miss the fucking plot?
Yeah.
Did you
miss the whole plot? Because it sounds like you did. And I think, you're going to get that. You're going to get people who treat media like that, I guess. But yeah, I think we need to like stop with the phenomenon of being like, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
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 Unless it's Long Legs. I didn't like it and it was bad, so.
But I think we could say I hated Long Legs because Nicolas Cage was playing the serial killer. This is just silly. It's Nicolas Cage in face paint and a wig. It took me out of it.
Yeah. I didn't like it because it was just trying to be Silence of the Lambs, and we already have Silence of the Lambs. We don't need to do Silence of the Lambs again, but worse. Don't try to be you can reference other movies. Don't try to be other movies that are better than you.
Yeah. See? But that's the reason as to why you hated it.
Yeah, that's true. Instead of just being like, it was bad.
It was stupid. I can't believe everybody liked it. That's what men on the internet sound like to me.
No, you're right.
So we've gotten a little loosey-goosey in this transition to the end of our episodes, and I realized that maybe we need to like add like a little disclaimer, because people who weren't, maybe for some silly reason, weren't with us in the first season might not have gotten the explanation. At the end of every episode, we like to just have a little bit of time to yap.
Oh, yeah.
Current affairs types of things. What are you into right now? Video games, movies, something that doesn't have to do with the movie we just talked about for 2.5 hours, but a right now type of thing. So that is how we like to end things. So, anything to discuss on your end?
Yeah, well, the trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein dropped, and we've learned that not only are we getting a theatrical release, before the Netflix release, we are also getting a opportunity for physical media of it, which, hallelujah, thank you.
So, did I follow up with you and confirm? Because we were reading an article about this, and he references how the 2022 Pinocchio that was a Netflix drop got a physical release.
Yes.
It went into the Criterion collection.
Oh, did it? Are we going to get a Criterion Frankenstein? We better.
I would think so. I bet they'll drop it Criterion, which will be nice for you.
I think he's going for like Oscar level like reception for this. Yeah. Because he got it for his fish fucking movie, right? And like, which I need to watch again. I don't think that's not fair, but like that's like
I thought that was a good movie, but it is a fish fucking movie.
Yeah,
it's very sexual for the fact that it's underwater. Yeah.
It's a Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Thank you. Yeah,
pretty much.
that one.
Yeah, but anyway, Guillermo del Toro, certified monster fucker. We love him for it. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think I need to resolve myself to reread Frankenstein before it comes out. But I'm really excited. I'm excited for that. I'm also excited a new trailer dropped for Cult of the Lamb add-on.
The
expansion, whatever. Like the biggest expansion I think we've gotten, because everything else has just been like follower add-ons and stuff now. But now we get like a new world, we get new battles, we get new shit, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I got to start mine. I realized what I'm going to do. So I am a psychopath, and I have it on PS5 and I have it on Switch.
No, that's fair. I have that with Dead by Daylight. So.
I have played it on PS5, and I think I'm going to start fresh on Switch and then buy the expansion on the Switch, and then that way I can have two cult followings.
You should, because I love doing it. I love playing it on Switch because it's very cozy.
Yeah.
It's like
you can take it with you.
Yeah, you can take it on the go. So that's what I'm excited about.
All right, my rant, just because I felt like it matched the vibe, because Nia DaCosta is doing 28 Years Later Part 2. Nia DaCosta has a movie coming out called Hedda. I hope I'm saying that right. Hedda. And it's gay.
And it's got Tessa fucking Thompson. And
Tessa Thompson looks to be our main character. And it looks to be a little bit of a period piece. They're in older garb. Which I can struggle with a period piece, but if it's about lesbians, I can get behind it. And it looks like Tessa Thompson and a woman that shows up had a thing, and now they're gonna have to do some stuff. So I'm here for it. I am very much in my lesbian cinema movie era. I'm just making myself a little cocoon and bubble, and I'm watching all these gay movies, and I'm just happy about it. So when I saw that she has a movie in the pipeline, I was very excited to see what she does with it.
And you started a Substack and wrote about that, I think, specifically.
Yeah. So I made the joke on my Instagram, because a podcast and TikTok isn't enough for me. I decided to start a Substack to talk. I think it's gonna be all things horror and all things gay cinema.
Excellent.
Because again, I don't want movies to go back to being so unrealistic. Like I think we're gaining steam and having a realistic portrayal of lesbians and bisexuals, and like I think we're getting more, like we got queer for gay men, and I think we're in a better spot, and I just hope with everything going on, I just hope it doesn't regress. And part of me is I'm with everything coming out though, because I think lesbian movies are gaining steam. I'm like, I just think lesbians and horror fans are saving Hollywood, because I think both topics are very popular right now. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty interesting. I still think, despite the circumstances, we're still in a bit of like a queer renaissance when it comes to media and stories that we're able to like access and stuff.
Well, I think if anything, I think it's only gonna. You would hope it's only going to strengthen it, because everyone is really starting to feel and see the importance of that storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was 28 years later. I'm glad we got to do all three.
I know, me too. After this, we're doing The Purge.
Yes.
We're doing The Purge.
It's a fun ride. Buckle up, because we have a lot of fun discussions about the Purge franchise.
We
definitely
do. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for those episodes to come out, because we had a great time recording them.
Yes, it was a good choice of franchise, definitely, after this one.
Yay!
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Girls, watch out for those weirdos.
We are the weirdos, mister.